What is up, everyone? TCT here again, and welcome back to the It's Showtime podcast, brought to you by me, TCT, here on YouTube. This is episode number 3, guys, and as I told you last week, there's some things I'd like to talk about. I'd like to talk about a few things. First, let me just say, this is the week. This is the week everyone's been waiting for. It's kind of a sad week, too, because we can't experience it in person. But this is the week that the NFL comes back. That's right. The NFL returns Thursday with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Houston Texans. I wonder how this is going to happen. Are they going to have fans in certain stadiums? Which I know certain stadiums are not having fans. This is going to be crazy. I have no idea what they're going to do. But I am curious to see how the football season is going to shape up. Baseball has gotten a little bit better with people getting sick. So hopefully football can follow some of the same guidelines, but it's going to be more difficult because baseball, you don't have to touch people as much. Football, you got to touch them every play. So it's going to be a little bit different. But anyway, let's get back to things I want to talk about this week. There's a show that I watched. It's an NBC show. I got into it. My family got into it. And it was beautiful. It is an NBC show starring Jamie Alexander called Blindspot. Now, for those of you that don't know what Blindspot is a show that was created for NBC television. And it had a few nominations for, People's Choice Awards. I don't think it really won anything, but it has an incredible 95% user liking. So I decided to give it a try. It was on Hulu, and man, was I blown away by how good it started off and how well it ended. There were some parts in the middle, that really took me for a spin. I don't want to give too much away. I want to give people that are listening a chance to watch this thing. But basically, the show is about a woman. I'll kind of give you a synopsis. I've actually got the synopsis pulled up. It says, Blindspot focuses on a mysterious tattooed woman who is found naked inside a travel bag in Times Square by the FBI. She has no recollection of her own past or identity. They discover that her tattoos contain clues to crimes that they will have to solve. So basically, the movie, or the show rather, sorry, it's not a movie. I wish it was a movie because technically it kind of was a movie based off of a book. It reminds me a little of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Kind of the same thing. But man, does it take you for a spin. Like the first season, you're sitting there guessing what's going to happen. It's like, okay, I see it's going to lead down this road. And no, season 2 comes along and you're like, okay, I was completely wrong because this show has great twists and turns. It has wonderful acting, and then it looks like, as the show continues, the actors are starting to have more fun. And I love seeing that on TV shows. It's when you see the actors enjoying a show that the show is going to be good, because if they enjoy doing a show, they're going to give you great content. They're going to give you great, scenes and scripts. So basically, the main character in the show, her name is Jane Doe. At least that's what the FBI calls her when I can at least tell you how the show starts. Is Jane Doe comes out of a bag in the middle of Times Square. And in the middle of Times Square, there's cops, there's a bomb squad, because, a bag just sitting, it's like a gym bag just sitting in the middle of Times Square. It looks awfully suspicious. and I mean awfully suspicious. So they empty Times Square. The bomb squad guy gets there, and the bag starts to open, and out comes a naked Jane Doe covered in tattoos, and she's sent to the FBI. And then we cut to the next actor, who's played by Sullivan Stapleton. His name is Kurt Weller. He's the lead FBI agent on the case. So when he gets there, he's like, well, what does this case have to do with me? Do you and his lieutenant, his commander, is asking him, do you know this woman? He's like, what? No, I've never seen a woman in my life. And then she turns around, Jane turns around, and one of her tattoos on the back, like underneath of her neck, like right at her collarbone, says Kurt Weller, FBI. So whoever put these tattoos on her back, or actually they cover her entire body from her legs. It's like every piece of skin is a tattoo other than her face. Like the highest it goes is up to her neck. So yeah, I mean, her body is just covered in these things, and they're clues. You know, you solve a combination of the tattoos, you might have a chance of catching a killer or something, and it's pretty interesting. I don't want to like really get into where her story goes, because I want people listening to this to watch it and discover it for themselves. It would be a great show for a channel to react to. I'd love to see people. I love watching people react to things like that, because good Lord, it's great. I mean, it's wonderful. Yeah. So that I don't really know what to say. Oh, by the way, they've got some great villains, some great guest stars. I mean, let me just go down the cast list here. It stars Sullivan Stapleton, Jamie Alexander, Rob Brown, Audrey Esperanza, Ashley Johnson, Ukweli Roach, Marianne Jean Baptiste, Luke Mitchell, Michelle Hurd, Archie Punjabi, Ines Esmer, and then a great villain, and she doesn't really appear until the last 2 seasons. I can tell you that, by Mary Elizabeth Mastriantino. Man, Mastriantonio. I'm sorry, I always mispronounce her name. Mary Elizabeth Mastriantonio. Man, does she gives like a Lex Luthor type performance. It is insanely good. One of my favorite TV villains I've seen in a long time. She does play a villain. Let me just go there. And it's straight up. It's not like it's a surprise that she turns into a villain. Like, she's a villain from when we were first introduced to her. So it's not giving nothing away, really. I won't tell you when she appears, other than the fact it's in the last 2 seasons. So you kind of got to watch the show to get to her. Which, the show itself is amazing. And I'm super proud to have watched it. I really want to go back and rewatch it pretty soon. So I give that show an A+, man. Like and by the way, the action scenes are realistic. Like there's fighting. Like there is good gun combat. There's just good FBI stuff. Like, not stuff like NCIS or anything like that where they just repeat. This is brand new things that you haven't seen in a cop show before. Like, they get hardcore, man. They get really hardcore in some of these episodes to where, it shocks you to how far they go in some of these. You're like, wow. Like, they went this route and it works. Like, that's amazing writing. And not to mention the composer, Blake Neely, who does a lot of great television music. In the Arrowverse on CW, he does some of those. I think he did Arrow and Flash, stuff like that. Good music, good stuff. Especially the music when she's coming out of the bag. That's kind of the instrumental for the entire show. So let's just put it like that. But good Lord, what a great show. I'm going to give that one an A+. I also watched the new season of Lucifer on Netflix, and let me just say, I think it didn't have enough episodes for me. It was only 8 episodes, I believe, and I think it's 2 episodes too short, because it kind of left me a little vulnerable. It left some holes open, and we kind of don't even know if Lucifer is going to even come back. From what they're talking, I think they're going to come back for one more season, but let me just say I love Lucifer. I think it was interesting. It's really over the top, especially some of the acting in it is really over the top, but that's just a show I can have fun with. I love like kind of supernaturalist shows. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Supernatural. I've been, with Smallville being my favorite show, Supernatural used to come on. It debuted right after Smallville. Like, its slot time was after Smallville most nights. So, yeah, definitely looking for shows like that, that involve like the unexplained. I love things like that. It's very fun to think about that kind of stuff. So, Lucifer, basically in this season, he's still down in hell after telling Chloe, the detective, that he loves her in the finale, and he goes back down to hell in order to maintain. He's fulfilling his father's wishes. His father is God, so his father sent him to hell to guard hell, and when he left, God got ticked off, started sending angels after him, and then the demons down there got ticked off, started coming up trying to get him by doing bad things up there. They're like, well, if you can leave, we can leave. And he's like, no, you have to go back down. And they weren't listening, so it kind of went sideways a little bit. But it starts off where he's down there, and then we get to the police team on how they've done without him. I think it's been like 2 or 3. I think it's 2 months, 3 months. And the cover story was kind of weird. He went down to Florida after the passing of his mother to take over the family business. Or either his mother was really sick or something like that. I can't remember. But yeah. It was kind of weird. This is definitely not one of the better seasons by any means. Their acting was way over the top. Not to mention, you could just feel that they weren't comfortable on set right now. I'm guessing they shot it during some of this, what's going on. And I don't know. This season felt like very off. It wasn't bad by any means. Like, there was some moments where you wanted to fast forward through it, and I hate that. I never want to fast forward through something. If I want to sit there and I want to fast forward through something, I know I'm bored, and I don't like that. Now, I've had episodes of TV shows that I wanted to fast forward, and let me just mention this. When I was watching Blindspot, I didn't fast forward one thing. I watched 100 episodes of that show. There is 100 total episodes of Blindspot. I never fast forwarded once. If anything, I rewinded it just so I could see a moment again, because it's that good. I had a blast with that show. But let's get back to Lucifer. Basically having he's kind of having a meltdown because they introduce a big character from the Bible, from most shows, who's also in Supernatural. It is the character, the Archangel Michael, who in the show is Lucifer's twin brother, looks just like him. So he kind of comes down and takes over Lucifer's life while Lucifer's down in hell and just tricks everybody. But the team is smart enough to know when Lucifer's not Lucifer. So they did pretty good. But I don't know, man. This season just felt weird. Like I said, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. I was like lukewarm on it. And it's really hard for me to say I hate something, but they did good job with some of these. Some of the characters are starting to fall flat a little bit. I think they just need to do one more season and just finish with Lucifer. In which, the big reveal at the end of the season, which, spoiler alert, jump ahead 30 seconds if you don't want to know. But God makes his debut, and I believe it's played by the Allstate guy. The guy that does the Allstate commercials. I can't remember the guy's name ever, but he's the guy that does the Allstate commercials. I believe he's being played by that guy. So God appears at the end and just tells them to all quit fighting. He's like, I hate it when you fight, and then it goes to credits. So I guess we're gonna have a big moment when the next season comes on, in which that should be the final season. It needs to stop. It's time for it to end. I don't want a show to go on too long. Supernatural went on way too long. They're like, I'm watching the newer seasons, as they're coming out, the newer episodes, and I'm like, didn't these guys do this like 6 seasons ago? But I don't care, because it's Sam and Dean Winchester. I even love Castiel. I definitely love Rowena and Crowley. Like, they were cool, additions to the show, when they brought them in. But, everybody else has been like a one-off. Bobby was fun for, as long as he was on the show. And he's made a couple appearances here and there. And then their mother. And then Jeffrey Dean Morgan playing their dad. That was awesome to have Jeffrey Dean Morgan play their dad. Of course, we all know who Jeffrey Dean Morgan is, because he plays Negan on The Walking Dead. And he also plays Thomas Wayne in Batman vs. Superman. So, yeah, that's a great addition. I mean, a really great addition to speaking about Lucifer, that I can actually talk about Supernatural. And let me just say to Jensen Ackles and Jarrett Padalecki, you guys don't need to do anything else with that show. You're done. If you guys want to do animated stuff, like I've heard talk that they do want to do animated Supernatural stuff, I'm all for it, man. Like, you guys don't need to do anything live action. If y'all want to do a movie later on down the road when you get older, brilliant. Just one movie would be fine. Like an anime of Supernatural would be awesome. They don't have to do as much work there. They can just lend their voice and everything. So yeah, that's going to be really sweet if they can do that. But I mean, let me just say, they've got to have 200 to 300 episodes of Supernatural. They've got to have that. I mean, what is it? It's 200 episodes for 10 seasons, and they've got 15 seasons. I think they've got 250 something episodes. If I've got to be pretty close in the ballpark with that. Like, I've got to be not 250. Well, yeah, 250, because it takes about 5 seasons to do 100 episodes. So yeah, it's got to be somewhere in the ballpark between. Let me see. So you get to 100 episodes in 5 seasons, and then it'll be 200 in season 10. No, about 300 episodes. I'm wrong on that. It should be 300. Pretty close. And that's a lot of watch time. If you guys want to watch it on Netflix, might I suggest watching one a night? It'll take an entire year to do, but trust me, you won't get burned out. I know they come on TNT in the mornings. They've been doing that for the last 10, 15 years. But they're awesome shows to watch. They were only supposed to go 4 seasons too. And the fans were just rejoicing. They're like, please bring this back. This show is awesome. I'm glad I get to talk about it now, because I absolutely love Supernatural. I've got a poster on my bedroom wall of, I think it's season 9. We're at the end of the season. It's either 9 or 10, where the angels start to fall out of the sky in the finale. It has Sam and Dean on it. It has Castiel and Crowley on it. And it has the angels fallen, and it says Supernatural join the hunt. I have one of those older posters. I need to get a newer poster, though. I'd love to get them to sign some things. I want to get one of the pops of Baby, which is the Chevy Impala Dean drives. It's finally been given a name after all those years. They call it Baby. So, of course, he's called it Baby in the entire show, but nobody ever really put the name to it. So, yeah. I mean, I get really excited talking about that kind of stuff. But anyway, yeah, so Lucifer, I'll give the new season of Lucifer, God, I don't know. I'm going to give it a C-. Like, I didn't love it at all. I liked it. I wasn't greatly impressed. by what they did. Like, the first couple seasons are awesome. Like, the first 3. Ever since they moved to Netflix, something's off. Like, something's been missing. I don't know what it is. I can't even put my finger on it. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch some of it. I think, Lucifer being a smart ass has died down a little bit ever since, he's been going out with a detective. But that, I don't know, that could be what it is. The fact that they finally got them together, that's always, bad news for a TV show when the main characters always get together. It happened in Lois and Clark. They were supposed to go for a 5th season. Nope, 4th season, done. Finale, done. I was like, ugh. I remember that when I was a kid and I was mad. Happened in Castle. They get them together in season 5. It goes another 2 seasons, done. Because the fan interest leaves once the characters get together. It's like, well, they're together. It's like, okay, the reason why you keep tuning in is to see when they finally get together and how their relationship progresses. So when they're together, it's like, well, they've been together for 2 years. We've seen everything. Just go ahead and end the show. Like, no, like that's the downfall of a show, especially if it's going really good. So you have to kind of be careful. Which is why Supernatural's worked out too good. They've not really had girlfriends. Like, they've had a lot of girls over those 15 years, those 15 seasons in Supernatural. They've had a lot of girls. They've slept with a lot of girls. They've had girlfriends. They've even had prostitutes. It's funny. It's so funny, the fact that they've never really found love, those two guys. Like, the only people I think Sam and Dean truly love is each other. Like, they are bros until the end. So, I mean, even now I'm still talking about Supernatural because I can't believe it's going off. I can't believe it's, ending. But that just starts making me feel old. But yeah, Supernatural, God, I'd give that whole series an A+, but definitely it should have ended in like season 7 or 8. I love season 9, by the way, but I'm actually glad it continued because we got the addition of Crowley and Rowena. I was a big fan of Charlie, who's played by Felicia Day. I absolutely love Felicia Day. I think she's cool. I listen to her on some of these podcasts and stuff. She's a very cool person. But I like Castiel, but he kind of grows off me during some of the episodes because he says some just ridiculous things. It's like, granted, he's an angel, but also he's an angel that's been on Earth with Sam and Dean for at least 10 seasons now. I think he didn't come on until like season 3, and they're in season 15. He ought to be just wise, and which he is, but he's still talking like Kelso from the 70s show, like where he says some retarded things. Which, I guess that's his character, but, that stuff kind of turns me off when you have an all-powerful angel that he's still a dunce. But he's a great dunce. I'm not going to narc on Misha Collins for that. That's just a script they give him. Misha Collins is amazing, by the way. The guy that plays Castiel, he's incredible. And I give him all the credit in the world for even being able to maintain that and not, to not be written off and actually become one of the guys. They are the main 3. And, it was just the 2. And it's like, well, how do you get a 3rd guy in there? Oh, well, you're an angel that helps them. Okay. That'll do good for a couple seasons. Nope, Castiel gets a cult following because he's an angel that wears a trench coat and looks like Superman Clark Kent. He looks like an old school, not like Christopher Reeve Clark Kent, but that wears the kind of the tannish trench coat with the tie, the suit. If you've never seen Supernatural, I'm trying to paint a picture for you. Looks like a just straight up businessman in a suit, like a big raincoat type suit. Like big raincoat type trench coat, really. So yeah. But anyway, enough about that. I also want to talk about I finally finished season 2 of Cobra Kai. I watched the first season of Cobra Kai when it came out on on YouTube Red, in which I don't watch that anymore because it's sort of a ripoff still in my book. But the only reason I got that was to watch season 1 of Cobra Kai, and then I dropped it. And I never watched season 2. Season 1 was great. Good nostalgia for the Karate Kid. I absolutely love, Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence and, all those characters. Of course, it's always going to miss Mr. Miyagi, but, Pat Morita's he's been gone for about 15 years now. So, and it's still pretty sad, Season 1, I love Season 1. Season 1's probably, still my favorite one. Season 2 had some great moments, though. Especially, towards the end. I don't want to give it away because it's still fairly new. I want people to go and watch it. I can talk about it some more later on down the line. I want people to go watch it because, they fairly just put it up on Netflix for people to watch. But, I will say that if they bring Elizabeth Shue back to play Allie, after season 2, they had kind of a moment in the finale episode where Johnny was trying to reconnect with Allie, just to be friends and to talk, and he threw his phone down on the ground because he was upset, and then the camera kind of panned in and it says, Allie has accepted your friend request, and I'm like, oh God, are they going to bring Elizabeth Shue in? Because she's still a gorgeous woman, man. Like, I watch her on The Boys. She was great on The Boys. I don't know if she's going to be in season 2 of The Boys. I doubt it. But she's great on The Boys. I've seen her Leaving Las Vegas was great. Of course, she's really famous from Karate Kid and Adventures of Babysitting. So, I'm telling you, man. Like, if they bring her in, that's going to be fun. I've also heard rumors of them bringing back the villain from Karate Kid 2, Chosen. The guy that Daniel was fighting in Karate Kid 2, fighting to the death in the temple. So I'm curious to how they would do that, if that's true. That's just a rumor, though. I'm not sure if it's true or not. I'm curious to whether Daniel taught him a lesson and he's going to come back not for revenge, but possibly to help Daniel stop Cobra Kai. But my thing is why would he return now? Like, they're going to have to, get really creative in order to bring that guy back. Like, trust me, he was great in that movie. That's probably my favorite villain out of all of them. Like, I like Johnny, and I can't even remember the guy in the third movie's name because I hated him so much. Not as an actor or a character, but it was just the way he treated Daniel was just awful, and I didn't even care about him at all. But Chosen was probably my favorite one. When they go to Okinawa, and he's just the ultimate bad guy. But it was kind of a downfall-ish. He lost his honor because his uncle felt that he didn't deserve the honor, and so he challenges Daniel, and Daniel ends up beating him in the fight to win back his honor, so he fails. So I wonder if they bring that back. It'll be curious to see if they bring that back. I mean, it really will. But I don't know. The girl from Karate Kid 2, I can't remember her name. It's been a while since I've seen that movie. I can't remember her name either. I wonder if she's even still alive. I haven't, even looked that up. But they could possibly bring her back too, or I don't know. Something in relation to Mr. Miyagi and his family over there. Because that's where his family was. I'm pretty sure that Sato's passed away just as Mr. Miyagi has. So I'm wondering if Chosen is now the owner of Sato's empire over in Okinawa, and will probably come over with his resources to help Daniel, or possibly to help Cobra Kai. I have no idea. Maybe Kreese went over to Okinawa knowing that Daniel and Chosen had a history, and told Chosen, I need your cash so that I can run LaRusso out of town. It'd be crazy if his auto dealership was, put in trouble from a guy that's much richer than him. And by the way, for those who are asking why Daniel LaRusso in that show is selling cars, the answer is obvious. Watch Karate Kid 1. What is the first lesson that Mr. Miyagi teaches him? It's wax on, wax off. Right? Okay. He's cleaning the cars. Remember this line? Hey, where do all these cars come from? And what does Mr. Miyagi say? Detroit. So Mr. Miyagi's a car man. He collects cars. He probably sold some cars. Probably worked on cars. Wouldn't it be crazy if Daniel LaRusso became a car man because Mr. Miyagi was a car man? That actually makes a lot of sense, right? I recognize that immediately. I'm like, oh, he's selling cars. That's something Mr. Miyagi would appreciate because Mr. Miyagi's a car man. So I said that on Facebook and I said that on YouTube, and people were like, oh, I never really thought of that. I'm like, seriously? It's so easy. It's so easy to think that Daniel LaRusso got in the car business because Mr. Miyagi was in the car business. He collected classic cars. So yeah. Not to mention the season 2 kind of crapped all over the yellow convertible that he gave him, which I don't even want to get into that. I want you guys to see it, but it was it was disgraceful, and that's today's generation that will do something like that. So I'm not going to say it was bad. It was actually genius script writing in order to tick you off. So, but anyway, I give like season 1 an A. I give season 2 probably a B plus. It's definitely not better than season 1, but it had some great moments as well. So yeah, I'm gonna go. It's time. But I will talk to you guys next week. I have no idea what the subject's gonna be next week. I will come up with something. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know I'm gonna try to shell these out weekly. Possibly gonna have a few videos coming out here and there. So until next time, this is TCT signing off. Thank you for watching episode 3 of It's Showtime. And thank you for listening.